how do I make this short and sweet? Okay, so let's start with Happy New Year. And I really wish you everything that you are wishing for yourself. So some changes will happen on my basically channel. So make sure that you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, then you see this like thing in the right kind of like corner, bottom corner, just click on it, because you'll be getting some series and some invitations that other people won't have an access to. They're not going to be posted like publicly. And you know, also, if you haven't already, join me on my mailing list. The link to it is my description, because that is specifically important for those of you who really want to take advantage of private readings, or who even want to take advantage of Reiki and all of these other add-ons that I actually send to my subscribers. And before we move right into the action, let me just ask you to support the channel. They're like already made, they're already out. There is $29.95, I believe, for one sign, and $59.95 for all. So you just have to go with www.cattarot.ca/annual, and basically the rest of it is history. It's going to be the order, and you get it from me as soon as I see it in my mailbox. I send that reading to you. So that really supports the channel, and this particular year I'm going to be helping lots of animals who actually cannot fend for themselves. I'm talking about all the strays all over the world that, you know, really need that really loving touch, and I really hope you can help me in actually pushing that forward. You know, maybe it is just a drop in the ocean who really cares about a kitten who knows where it is, somewhere in Turkey, somewhere in Siberia. But you know, it matters to that pretty kitty that actually the life, the leg, whatever is needed, an eye is being saved. So without much further ado, let's jump into the reading and see what January brings for us, because this year brings lots of changes, and hence if you order your Taroscope, you're going to know all about it. So let's start, my dear friends, and see where January takes us. Hello Aries, and welcome to your January 2019 Taroscope, the first one of this year. So let's see what we have. We have Summer Solstice, Radiance, we have the Fool, and we have Death card. Very interesting combination. It is very important to understand that, you know, both of them sort of like signify certain progress in moving it forward. Summer solstice kind of like took me a little bit by surprise, because first of all, yes, we are not in June, but this is really talking about travels, which probably you coming to your sign, it's going to give you like all that energy and radiance that is going to shine forth, right? Being that you're a fire sign, I see that connecting with that, because I really think this is kind of like time is coming for you to truly be able to appreciate everything that you have, and whatever this means, dancing, singing, creating like something new. It's kind of like being in love, but being in love with life. So that's kind of like a part of certain cycle that is going to be really amplified in January. It's kind of like really I guess one of those supreme ironies of life. The more love you give, the more returns to you. So it is actually really starting with being who truly you are. Like, I mean, if you kind of lost that loving feeling, as the song goes, really it is the time to kind of like, hey, let's shed all this kind of like blockages and that I had. Now, this Visconti tarot is one of the first tarots known, 15th century we're talking about. And the Fool over here, yeah, it's not really showing that shiny person on the cliff. Frankly, right? It's rather strange. So it's kind of like a person who's probably driven by kind of like his base needs and urges. Somebody maybe who has fallen into a state of kind of like maybe even poverty and deprivation, and he is definitely kind of like losing his drawers or stockings, whatever, you know. So I really think that this kind of like is very significant. So this is not really portraying somebody like a carnival entertainer or huckster, right? So the advice over here is to let go of any preconceived concepts and ideas. You need to be open to change, and there's like certain kind of like action that needs to happen over here. I mean, getting your pants on, right? They're not on fire. This is definitely like in the combination. I'm thinking like message here is like that you need to lighten up and let yourself be spontaneous enough to kind of like stretch beyond logic. I had this like big conversation with my brother today, who is Aries, and I mean, he is basically a coach. And as a psychologist, I really pay lots of attention to dreams, because dreams are definitely also actually scientifically proven. For example, when women have intuition that certain gender is going to be the gender they're going to deliver the baby that they're pregnant with, 70% of women were correct. But if they dreamed a gender of a child, they were correct 100% of the time. So dreams are actually giving us hidden knowledge, because we maybe can just like sort out so much information. So I'm imagining my brain being some kind of like big warehouse center. So okay, I'm tired right now, I'm going home, I'll finish tomorrow. But the brain registered all of that stuff like that is everywhere. So I think dreams are popping this up on the kind of like surface. So release any demands, release any expectations. You need to give complete attention to all events that are recurring in the moment, because the Fool is like really strong energy as well. But now we have the Death card, right? And it is not about the literal death of any person. It may represent the death of something else, like a project or a plan or a relationship. This also actually at the same time points to time of harvest, sort of like that's why in the classical decks is kind of like showing that reaping kind of like skeleton, right? So since we are not in the time of basically harvest, right, this is really here telling us that you need to free yourself from the past, something that no longer serves you, and kind of like go toward the future. This, I think, it's advising certain course of action that is going to harmonize what you want with what you can do, what is currently possible. You need to kind of detach yourself from the old. You guys are this trailblazing sign. You need to kind of keep moving forward. Did you get stuck in some kind of hole? And not only did you not try to dig yourself out, but you're like, oh, okay, look at that, look at the mud, right? And this is kind of like that realization, because maybe this old ways are kind of like linking to some kind of outdated conventions. So don't kind of, if this means rejecting others, make sure that you don't hurt them in any way. It is like simply the time that tells you that you need to move toward your ultimate interest. So this also can talk about some kind of like nostalgia. After all, this is kind of like linked with ARIES, which is the rune of progress, right? So, this is kind of like telling you to move it forward. Even if you feel you're in the beginning of the new journey, even if you're feeling, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave certain things behind. This, honestly, I'm getting these images of hoarding, needing to clean the hoarding. And hoarding is not only unnecessary clutter that we have at home. How about torch it, everything that you have, and really see what really is necessary, kind of a thing. So that cleansing should probably happen not only on your physical, but also on your mental level, because this is like really telling me that situations are certainly moving forward. And even if you feel that you're stagnating, that your life was not really moving fast, it's going to actually start rapidly going forward. And this is also talking about that something in the future will grow from the remains of the past. So as you can see, there is like a huge kind of like linking it together, and the sun is like kind of like that element, the shine, the personality coming through, that actually come through it, right? This also can talk about a really strong-willed person. So hence, I really think this is you, and it's like somebody who is like very positive, and it's him or she, he or she, and something who's kind of like very healthy and athletic. So I really think, like looking that this guy actually have lost quite a bit of the weight here, that you probably will jump on your health routine, and kind of like, I really don't think you will be stopped. I really think that only thing that might get in the way is that so many things will be coming your way that you will really need to have kind of ability to kind of like set priorities, what comes first, what comes later. But you know, when this rune appears in your reading, you can be sure that you actually already have all the necessary skills, acumen, and kind of like shrewdness to hit your mark, right? So, but at the same time, it is telling you need to gather courage and you need to take this risk, right? So I'll actually have 2 more parts of this monthly reading this time around. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to shuffle these decks, and we are going to just like see the general messages. And after that, we are going to go into kind of like relationships part. So even if you're not in a relationship, I have actually designed a spread that actually can apply to everybody. Those inquiring about that special someone, those who are single and wondering what's going to happen, and also those who are in a relationship. So let me start with shuffling the cards first. Hi Aries, so what do you have? You have 2 of Earth, you have 6 of Earth, 4 of Sky, 7 of Earth, the Chariot, and the Cat. And the Cat in this particular deck is basically this outer's vision of this card. So this is a repeat, and this is really amazing how many signs had almost like similar happening to them in one form or the other, even like identical card as in your case. So that even more so telling you to kind of like really open your mind. You're going in a new direction, you're going toward new possibility. Here it's called the Cat. It's the card numbered 0, right? And the 0 is like that cycle. It is kind of, hey, I need to smell these roses, I need to smell this lavender, I need to drink some water, I need to check some birds, I need to kind of like see what's going on. It's like simply exploration of being in the now and kind of experiencing the moment. Interestingly enough, with 2 of Earth card, which really talks about, you know, how much longer can you sustain your position, how much longer you want to continue with this, and are you even happy? This really generally tells me that this may have been happening, especially with this 2 early or maybe 3 early kind of like cards, that you have been in a situation where maybe you have been waiting for certain seeds that you planted, for certain kind of like things that you hoped would develop to come back, to kind of like finish that cycle and really almost like bring you that harvest. We see the harvest over here, but it doesn't look like it happened, and it looks like that you are finally realizing maybe I need to abandon my plan. It kind of like talks about somebody maybe being non-responsive, somebody just maybe taking their time, and look at that lavender is repeating as a theme, which is really interesting. I absolutely I love lavender, and I have the bunches all over my place. Now, this really talks about somebody who really needs to kind of like shut things out. This could be you as well, that maybe that non-responsiveness just like made you tired, because I can see here that you were really hoping for some kind of like unity, for some kind of like, let's kind of get together, let's kind of like all share. So the kitty is allowing the stray kitties and her kittens to kind of like eat. There is like enough for everybody. Come over. Maybe you have been waiting for somebody to give you that cushion, because look at all this licking and appreciation and respect. It is kind of like feeling, hey, you know what, I really accept you, I really enjoy here that you are here with me. But these 2 cards reversed, so maybe there is like that essence that you were trying to feel, that you were trying to get to, was just a miss. Somebody that you were hoping to come through did not come through, or maybe you change your plans and you really didn't want to push that really forward. It's almost like sounds that has been some kind of situation which included sacrifice. So it could be a relationship that, somebody had other priorities, such as like, somebody was going into school, so hence they didn't spend enough time with you. But at the same time, the balance was completely not there. And maybe you are no longer in a position to give. Maybe now you're in a position to receive in order to simply recharge your batteries, because it does look like that you are really literally waiting in one of the last stages. Seven of Earth, and what the lovely rendition of Seven of Earth. There's like this waiting. You did see something going in that kind of like little mouse hole, but if you ever watch the cat, this can go on for hours. My cat can stand on my nightstand and stare at me to a point that it becomes really uncomfortable. So I really think, and I don't know if you've seen the cat, anything like that, they're not sleeping, they're not blinking slowly their eyes, they're like, their pupils are big, they're really kind of like zooming into. Maybe you're setting your eyesight on some kind of like new goals, which now you had 2 sevens, but you also had a card that jumped through Gypsy deck that I was looking at, which is joyfulness, which kind of like I was seeing over here. Maybe this whole thing was creating some kind of like burden, and then you're saying to yourself, well, you know what, I can as well enjoy the ride. Whatever it is, like I'm not enjoying myself right now, and you're kind of like really putting that as a priority, that sunny energy, that kind of like that personality, that courage of going through. And courage, talking about courage, it is repeating here as well. We have the Chariot. And the key here is not having any reins. This is like simply, again, the solar power over here as we see, right? And it is like about moving forward towards something. So now these doggies, they have the mind of their own. So you really need to have that ability to trust yourself, to know where you're going, that simply with your mind you can control the motion. So I really think it's going to be a little bit introspective, because all of these 3 cards really talk about pulling it in. But after all, it's almost like, okay, you know what? I need to package. It almost like sounds like what some people call it post-mortem, after the death. So we did have that card. So after that means, okay, let's look how this whole process worked. And let's see kind of like if anything can be improved or what needs to be avoided. And then based on that, we can decide how to move forward. And forward it is. By the end of the month, you'll be feeling much lighter, you'll be feeling much happier. You're having this sun repetition around, so make sure you're getting your D vitamin, make sure you're kind of like getting enough time to gaze in the sun, because it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. You cannot make people to balance things out, but you can only balance yourself out. So if something kind of like went out of proportion and you need that soft place to fall, you need to go with that, because you already have an idea what you need to ask, you already have an idea where you need to go. This actually also can talk about traveling. This also can talk about setting up a new business. This also can talk about redefining your business, kind of like if this is referring to your job, or to kind of like some entrepreneurial spirits. I'm really seeing quite a bit of entrepreneurial things over here. It is kind of like a liftoff. It's something that will be happening with actually quite rapid speed. You guys will be very surprised. So I would say being healthy means also getting enough rest. Being healthy means being focused, which means eating healthy food, but also being healthy means kind of like getting this smile vitamin, which will help. So let me clarify the majors for sure. I really want to see what is going on, maybe like 6 of Earth as well, to see what kind of like imbalance are we addressing over here. And we have wedding and we have a gift. So for some of you, it could be a matter of maybe wanting to get married, wanting to know in which direction you're going. Given that this is a 6, I'm really wondering if maybe somebody made sacrifices in the marriage or marriage itself was a sacrifice where you feel, oh my goodness, I cannot do everything that I wanted, this is really hard, where there is like certain things of redefining that needs to happen. Maybe somebody sacrifice is like a really heavy word, and yet is like so powerful. Whenever it comes to relationship, I always see relationship as a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice for getting so much more, right? You sacrifice eating this cookie right now, but then you get this whole entire cake, like, I mean, 3 hours down the road. This is kind of like talking about this delayed gratification. But it looks like that some of you have not been gratified for quite a long time, or somebody really feels this way. And hence, you're kind of like putting this whole thing under the question, is this working, how to go forward? And maybe, frankly, you're just like simply tired of everything. But interesting enough, you will continue to kind of like still focus forward. Let me see quickly, that 7 of Earth, that focus, because you have those 7s. Yeah, like it is, again, just as I said, what is working, what is not working. Kind of like you're laying down your own rules, your own law. The priest in this card is really representing a lawyer or some setup that needs to happen in order for things to function better. So let me see the Chariot and the Cat, because both of them such good cards. I really like this. I just wanted to go for Chariot. The prison. Somebody is getting out of the prison, or you're picking somebody up from the prison. Oh, maybe you're going after someone. The prison, and again, interesting that we had a wedding over here. To me, actually, you will laugh because I'm Aquarius. This really, to me, is a marriage card, and it's really talking about this obsessing and being stuck, and I keep seeing that theme all over the place. But there's like a vase here. What do you think? They actually serve flowers in prison. Maybe people are not or chains, but look and see, this person actually does have quite a bit. This is not a person who is like out of nowhere. There's like this red color that kind of connects, and I know this is not a cell phone, it's a letter, but frankly, I'm in 2019 right now. To me, this is a cell phone. She's looking for almost like sex. No, she's looking for some kind of text, or she's reading some kind of text. And there are like a whole bunch of roses. So this can actually represent you. And maybe you wanting to go after somebody who is unavailable. Maybe somebody is stuck. Which maybe they are in a relationship, but they are stuck. Just because people are in a relationship and you like them and they like you back, doesn't mean that situation can be kind of like resolve, at least not in any kind of like fast way. But this is kind of like promising, like you're going to feel really comfortable even if you need to kind of move forward. This for some of you can mean, well, I kind of like don't see divorce, even though yes, this can mean for some of you that was a breakup. Just like I said, some relationships maybe ended over here, but it's never a problem with ending a relationship. The problem is like what happens, that we have that emotional turmoil, that we have confusion, we have to redefine ourselves, especially for those people who dedicated to relationship. And dedication is basically that sacrifice, right? And now finding your sea legs, finding this kind of like new opportunities is difficult, but it looks like you are really quickly doing that. That's why the cat is jumping over here. And there it is. You have the love reversed and you have despair, both reversed. So good and bad. Love reversed means like to some extent you are putting things on a back burner. You are maybe not even dealing with them. You're saying, okay, so be it. There's like still some kind of like level of jealousy over here, or you maybe are simply connecting all these things that I have experienced made me feel sick to my stomach, and hence that you're cutting it off. There is like, need to move forward and kind of like smell the roses. It does look like there is like somebody or something that you're leaving in the past. But I'm also seeing here that almost like you don't really care about, relationship. I'm sure it will be some of you, so we'll see that in the next layer of this reading. But I think some of you just like couldn't care less. It is kind of like, leave me alone. Leave me alone, exclamation mark. I am so sufficient. I am enjoying myself the way I am. And don't you touch me. You know, like a cat goes, like, you pet them and then, don't touch me, kind of a thing. It's kind of like feeling really, really strong desire to shed things and to start all over. Okay, so the third part is going to be, as I said, about relationships, about, how, we perceive, and really never liked the fact that, you see it on the internet, that readers go, well, for the singles and for the people, come on, it's the same sign. Otherwise, you're doing a private reading, or and you cannot do private reading if you're reading for more than one person. So it just like doesn't work. So let me do my spread, and you guys are going to be the judges. And please, if you like this channel, if you like what you hear, press subscribe button, because as I said, this year I'm going to kind of like really go toward subscribers, and they'll be able to get some special editions. And if you subscribe to my mailing list, then you might even get some energy work, meditations, or even some kind of like coaching things. So I advise to do both. Give it a try. If you don't like it, it's always easy to jump off that train. So okay, so let's see, Aries 2019. So again, look at this, we have the Death card over here. Somebody does not want to let go. Somebody is sunk their teeth in, and they're really holding it here. Let me just zoom this out so you can see the whole thing here. So let's check for the singles of you. So the Death card repeated, right? So when it's reversed, it kind of like really talks about either holding on principles or holding on a person from the past, the transformation that needs to happen in order for you to be healthy, in order for you to be happy. And you're going to see what would be happening if you were in a relationship with this person, right? You're not letting it go. You are afraid of letting it go. And maybe this is why the Radiance card showed up here, because it's really asking you, hey, you need to lighten up. You really, need to pay attention to yourself, because your happiness does not really depend on this other person. So let's see the singles. Look, singles. You have the Seven of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and Nine of Swords. All reversed. Are these all these cards reversed? I guess they are. Oh my goodness. How is this even possible? And why did I have the hunch? Oh, this one isn't. No. Wow. This is going to be some kind of reading. But anyway, something is really important here that I see. Seven of Swords and Ace of Pentacles and Nine of Swords. So this really tells me that you're going through lots of mental kind of like understanding of the situation. Something that you really wanted to go long term, just like it didn't happen, and it couldn't happen. This is that aha moment when you kind of get it. You get it that you were upset over something. It's just like being upset, let's say the dog is not flushing the toilet, right? It's just, hello, maybe you cannot do it in the first place. And either being able to understand this fully, or understand that you getting upset over a certain situation is not going to get you anywhere. Let me see, and I generally see this side more or less as you and that side as the partner, but you be the judge. Interestingly enough, again, we have two major arcanas. Here we have the Temperance reversed. And this person is saying it wasn't the right time, or it wasn't the right place, or it wasn't the right situation, or I just didn't have the courage to do that. Interestingly enough, you're coming up with this courage card. So let's see what else I can tell you about them. And when I saw this card and this card, they have like two extra major arcana. You see the 9 is linking to your 9, which really talks about, again, light. Just saying it's not me. This person was clearing their karmic garbage. This person and you were supposed to meet. This is one of my karma cards over here, and they really need to learn something. It looks like over here what I see, they had issues with how they express love and how they really deal with that. And you may have been dealing with Sagittarius, Scorpio or Virgo or other fire signs, and this is really coming through very much. Or this person has been dealing with, okay, how deep is my love and what is it I want? Maybe it really talked about somebody being suppressed with the other people, as we saw it there. Maybe it was a situation where somebody was married or in a relationship. They maybe wanted to leave. They had all intentions, but they didn't. Or that somebody on the side was trying to interfere with your marriage. So it kind of like really shows that maybe there was like some interest, but in the end, both parties kind of like ended not better off. One party, and I think it's you, is getting completely clarity this month. It's kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to lose my sleep over this anymore. I'm not going to get upset. It's just like, I don't care. And then I don't really think they're going to contact you, though. I really think they are totally in their own world. They're like paying their own dues. The Judgment card is actually good. It means that they actually have been through something that was needed for them to understand which karmic lesson that was. So let me see those of you couples. Oh my God, you're getting the Fool over here. What are the chances? It is new beginning. It is moving forward. It is like, how can we collaborate? It is, how can I be better person for you, and how can you be the better person for me? You see, the Fool in this deck is never like nothing like this Fool in this deck, right? Because here they romanticize the Fool and there is like a court jester. But Fool in this particular deck is about craving that new chance and new freedom. That's why we see this like big sun. And we see the doggy. Doggy really represents society and what society wants us to do, and what kind of tune they want us to dance. But you know, Fool is not listening, and Fool kind of like really has this energy to move forward. Even if I jump off the cliff, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to land well. I'm showing my expertise into something. This is one of the stronger cards actually in Pentacles, even though it's only number 3. And I really think it is linking to this year number 3. And then lastly, you have Six of Wands. And Six of Wands really tells me that, you know, somebody really wants to be praised. Somebody wants to say, hey, you did a good job. And especially if you're dating an Aries male, then this person really wants to be praised, that he's a great lover. And there's like something that they're not telling you, but they are really, really missing it. So let me see the overall meaning. And look at this, another karma card. The High Priestess. And this is the same flavor, 11 and 2. It's going to feel for some of you, and it literally is telling me that this is simply karmically saying, watch and see what happens, right? But at the same time, do the right actions. Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is extremely resourceful and reliable, who definitely wants to kind of like set the path forward. So think this person over here, if you're inquiring about somebody, that you want to meet somebody new, then you really need to kind of like keep in mind that even though they are the right person, this might not be right timing for you right now. So they could be a little bit disconnected from you. They could be sort of like almost like a smug as a person. And this really calls for you kind of like developing yourself and moving it forward in spite of things that happened in the past. It's sort of like a message: do not let things from the past jade you, because on this Chariot, remember, that we had, it's going to feel like something is dragging you back. Instead, just let it go, let loose, go forward. You cannot run other people, they cannot run you, and you have only one life to live. Life is not a video game where you have extra lives. You have only one life. Don't waste it, Aries. So thank you so much for being here until the end of the reading. So I really hope to hear from you. If you liked what you hear, if you like my channel, my kind of like energy, please subscribe. And if you don't like it, I would like to see that as well. I am kind of like not shying away from there. Lastly, if you want a private reading, contact me at cattarot.ca. You can get different readings, review different readings on my website. And lastly, guys, please support the channel and get your annual taroscopes. They're actually quite long. I'm a little bit talking about general universal energy of the number 3 year, which is going to be spectacular and powerful if you know how to write it. And then we are going in particular signs, which is kind of like divided in segments. The first part is quarterly reviews, and then I'm going into astrological houses and segments of 12 houses review. And then lastly, I'm putting that in Lenormand, and everything is kind of like sorted out. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me, and until the next time, you have a wonderful January. Let this sun shine through. Love you.